The laughter of the Empire. The Galactic Empire was the strongest power in the stars. Thousands of systems, billions of ships, and endless resources belonged to them. On their golden thrones, the High Council sat and ruled over the galaxy without fear. And they laughed? They laughed when someone mentioned Earth. Humans? The Dirt Eaters from Sector 12? One noble chuckled, lifting a crystal glass filled with glowing blue wine. Primitive creatures, said another. They fight with emotions, not logic. Didn't they burn their own sky once? A third laughed louder. They are dangerous only to themselves. The room echoed with jokes and laughter. Earth was far from the center of the galaxy. Small, ignored, and unimportant. The Empire believed they had no need to worry about such a wild species. No trade deals, no invitations to galactic meetings. Not even a warning before invading one of their outer colonies. The humans had complained, of course. Sent messages, warnings, pleas. The Empire ignored them all. In the Great Control Chamber. Aboard the Star Fortress Magnora, a young sensor officer suddenly sat up straight. His screen blinked. Something was moving near the border of the Empire's territory. One single ship. Must be a pirate, his commander muttered without looking. No, sir, the officer said slowly. It's something else. The commander walked over, annoyed. Explain. The screen showed a strange ship. No known design. No ID signal. No weapons the scanners could detect. But it was fast. Too fast. And it was coming straight toward one of the Empire's biggest defense rings, Delta Barricade. How is that possible? The commander whispered. Why haven't we seen this before? Across the Empire, alarms were not yet sounding. No one had pressed the emergency button. To them, it was just another unknown ship. But on the bridge of the Empire's battleship Sorrow's Edge, Admiral Veltrin was watching. His face was still, but his eyes narrowed. Zoom in, he said. The image appeared. Smooth black armor, sharp angles, and a light trail of blue flame behind the craft. Not alien, not robotic. It looked designed by someone who understood both art and destruction. That's not ours, Veltrin muttered. And it's definitely not pirate tech. He turned to his officers. Try hailing the vessel. They sent a signal. No reply. They tried again. Silence. No response, Admiral. Any transponder codes? None. It's completely dark. Veltrin leaned forward. Something in his gut twisted. It was the same feeling he had years ago, before a major rebellion, before everything fell apart. The kind of silence that only comes before something terrible begins. Who built this? He asked aloud, not expecting an answer. In the Central Empire Council Chamber, news of the ship finally arrived. The laughter stopped. A few chuckled nervously. Just one ship? Said Minister Grohl. Why is everyone acting like this is a crisis? Because, said Commander Alox, an old war leader with scars across his face. We don't know who sent it. And it's heading for one of our major defense hubs. Then destroy it, shouted another. Commander Alox shook his head. It's not that easy. Our ships can't lock onto it. Scans fail. Systems glitch when it passes nearby. The room fell quiet. One of the junior analysts stood up, shaking. We ran partial readings, counselors. The ship is powered by something we don't understand. And it's not slowing down. Another long silence. Where is it from? Asked one. That's when the analyst showed the screen. A single blurred symbol appeared on the side of the black ship. It was small but clear. A blue planet. Green continents. White clouds. A single simple mark beneath it. Earth Fleet Command. For a full minute, no one spoke. Then Minister Grohl tried to laugh. Impossible. That can't be human. But even he looked pale. Admiral Veltrin watched as the ship came closer to Delta Barricade. He whispered to himself, That's a warship, but not one we've ever seen. His aide stepped forward. Admiral, orders? Veltrin stood slowly. Scramble all ships near the station. But don't fire unless I give the command. Why not, sir? Because, Veltrin said, we just woke something that was never asleep. And I want to know what it wants before it decides. Outside the station, the strange ship drifted closer. The Empire had laughed at humans, but now something was coming. The unknown signal. The ship slowed as it approached Delta Barricade, the Empire's largest outer defense ring. Normally, this ring held enough firepower to stop an invading fleet. It had thousands of automated guns, interceptor drones, and layered energy shields. Nothing had ever gotten past it until now. The strange black ship hovered in front of the barricade, silent and still. It didn't fire. It didn't speak. It just waited inside the command center. Captain Revik paced the floor. Why hasn't it attacked? He asked, trying to hide the tension in his voice. No activity, sir, his officer replied. But our sensors can't scan the ship's interior. We don't even know if there's a crew. Revik frowned. Then send a warning. Standard code. The message was sent. You have entered Imperial territory. Identify yourself or be destroyed. There was no reply. He sent another. Still nothing. Before Revik could give the order to charge weapons, a faint sound echoed through the station. Not through speakers. Not through the system, but inside their heads. All across the command center, officers looked up in shock. The same word had, whispered in each of their minds, as if someone stood behind them and spoke softly. One word, observe. Revik stepped back, his face pale. What was that? It didn't come from the comms, said the technician. It came directly into our minds. All over the Empire, ships near the strange vessel experienced the same event. The word observe echoed in their brains, calm, controlled, and cold. Back at the Imperial capital, the High Council received the report. What do you mean mind communication? Shouted Minister Dren. It's psychic, or something close to it, said the science officer. But there's no biological signal, no life form nearby. It's as if the ship itself is alive. Alive? Ships aren't alive. One counselor snapped, but no one argued. Not really. They were too afraid to. A new report came in. Delta Barricade has lost all long-range scanning systems. Power fluctuations detected. The Empire still didn't attack. Not yet. They wanted answers. Inside the Magnora control room, Admiral Veltrin stood still, watching the screen. He didn't blink. He didn't breathe, because something had changed. The ship's front hull had opened slightly. A glowing blue circle appeared, and a beam of pure light shot upward, not at the station, not at any ship, but into space. High, far, and wide. In seconds, the beam became a screen. And on that screen, images began to play. Earth, cities, war, flood, fire, human children crying, humans rebuilding, humans climbing mountains, going to space, fighting beasts, fighting each other, and surviving every time. For 5 full minutes, the Empire watched the story of Earth compressed, brutal, beautiful. And the image of a man appeared. He wore simple black armor. A single line of text glowed on his chestplate. We adapt. And then the voice came. A real voice, this time. It echoed in every station, every ship, and every capital chamber of the Empire. You dismissed us. You forgot us. But we never forgot you. Admiral Veltrin clenched his jaw. The voice was calm, but there was power in it. Controlled fury. You laughed. We listened. You invaded. We built. And now, you will observe what comes next. Suddenly, Delta Barricade's lights dimmed. Systems went dark. All weapons powered down. It wasn't an attack. It was Control, and the mysterious ship had not moved a single meter closer. Captain Rivik looked around. All defense systems off. I can't reactivate anything. The technician turned to him. Sir, this is not war. It's demonstration. Veltrin received the same message. This ship, he whispered, isn't here to destroy us. It's here to teach us fear. The screen blinked one last time. The Earth symbol appeared again. Under it, in bold letters, humanity, forgotten, not forgiving. Then silence. The ship turned slowly, no engines flaring, no sound. Just a quiet motion dot. It began to drift toward the core systems. And the Empire had no idea how to stop it. And the stars had gone quiet. Test of fire. The black ship moved past Delta barricades slowly, like it didn't care about the Empire's defense systems. The Empire cared. All nearby fleets were now on full alert. 5 warships from the Veltrax division followed the unknown. Ship, weapons charged. Drone swarms buzzed in orbit. All eyes in the galaxy were now watching this one moment. Admiral Veltrin stood aboard the Sorrow's Edge, his face calm, but his hands tight behind his back. Status? He asked. No response from the ship. It continues on course, said the officer. Any changes to our targeting systems? We still can't lock on. Something about its hull. It bends our signals. Veltrin nodded. Then we tested another way. He gave a short command. A cruiser named Iron Blade turned toward the unknown ship and fired a warning shot, a plasma burst, bright and loud. The bolt hit the black ship and disappeared. Not exploded, not blocked, just gone. As if space had swallowed the blast. Everyone on the bridge froze. Fire again. Veltrin ordered. This time, the Iron Blade launched a focused missile. It was fast, sharp, and designed to pierce even the hardest shields. But the moment the missile got within 10 kilometers of the black ship, it stopped. No explosion. It just froze in mid-space, spinning slowly. The engines died. Then, gently, it turned back toward Iron Blade and drifted off into the void like trash. The unknown ship had returned the missile unharmed. Then came the voice again, clear, cold, and terrifying. This was your warning shot. Now, here is mine. From the nose of the black ship, a thin blue light appeared. It hummed low. Then it fired. One straight beam dot. It didn't explode. It didn't burn. It touched the outer armor of Iron Blade and vanished instantly. For a few seconds. Nothing happened. Then the lights of the cruiser flickered. Its shields dropped. Weapons powered down. Engines went dark. The entire warship had been shut down, completely disabled. No damage. No fire. No deaths. But also no resistance. The crew inside panicked. Doors stopped working. Control panels glitched. Emergency systems failed. Back on Sorrow's Edge, Veltrin stared at the readings. This ship has a weapon we've never seen. He said, not made to kill, made to humiliate. The Empire wasn't used to humiliation. On the homeworld of Kirel Prime, the Council had gathered again. They shouted, argued, and pointed fingers. This is an act of war. One leader screamed. Then, treat it like war, yelled another. Send the fleet. But not everyone agreed. This is not an invasion, said the oldest counselor. This is a demonstration. They are showing us what they can do. And who is they? Another snapped. We still don't know for sure. Then a new image came through. The unknown ship had sent a single video broadcast on all channels, visible in every system, every port, and every war room across the galaxy. It showed Earth, the ruins, the fires, the rebuilding, the machines, the sky towers. And then it showed the inside of a hangar. Row after row of black ships, like the one floating in. Empire space. Thousands of them. One voice spoke over the images. This is only one vessel. Do not test the patience of Earth again. Across the galaxy, entire fleets paused their patrols. Pirate ships turned off scanners. Smugglers hid in asteroid fields. Even neutral planets powered down weapons just in case, because this wasn't a rumor anymore. Earth had returned, and they weren't just advanced. They were in control. Eyes in the dark, the black ship hovered in space like a shadow that refused to move. All across the Empire, panic spread like wildfire. Thousands of ships had already been deployed, but none dared get too close. The Iron Blade still drifted in space dead, cold, powerless. Its crew had been rescued, but the damage was already done. Not physical damage, but something worse. Fear. On board the star cruiser Sorrow's Edge, Admiral Veltrin stood in silence. The lights dimmed slightly as his ship adjusted power. He looked over the star map. The black ship was still there, untouched, calm, and watching. I don't think it's alone, he finally said. His officers looked up in confusion. Sir? He pointed at the surrounding data streams. This ship disabled one of our best cruisers with a single beam. Then it broadcast a warning. That's not the act of a lone scout. It's the move of something bigger. The room stayed quiet. Veltrin walked to the main console. We're being watched, he said. Not just by this ship, but something behind it. Something far worse. Meanwhile, back on Pirol Prime, the Imperial capital, a secret meeting took place under the Grand Dome. Only the highest-ranking officials were present. We've reviewed the energy signature of the weapon, said the chief science officer. It doesn't match any known element. It bends space, but creates no heat, no radiation, and no physical debris. Are you telling us it breaks the laws of physics? A counselor asked. No, counselor, the officer replied nervously. I'm saying it obeys laws we haven't discovered yet. The room fell into silence. Then the lights flickered, and for a brief second, the Empire's most secure room went black. Every screen, every light, just darkness. Then, as quickly as it began, the lights returned. Only now, something had changed. A message appeared on every screen. You're not alone in the dark. We are already there. Every face in the room turned pale. The blackout had only lasted 6 seconds. But those 6 seconds were enough to destroy the illusion of safety the Empire had always held. It was proof that whatever humanity had become, they could reach anywhere. Back on the Sorrow's Edge, the ship's sensors picked up another strange reading. Admiral, an officer shouted. I don't understand. There's nothing visible, but we're detecting hundreds of small gravitational distortions around us. Stealth ships? Veltrin asked. No signatures, no movement. But something is definitely there. Veltrin stared at the display. They're not showing themselves, he muttered. They're letting us feel them. At that moment, a new broadcast came through. But this time, it wasn't from the ship. It was a recording sent straight from Earth. A woman in a dark uniform appeared. Her face calm, her voice firm. I am Commander Lyra of Earth Fleet Intelligence, she said. This was never an act of war. But if war is chosen, we will respond. Fully. She looked directly into the camera, as if staring through time. And space. Double quotes, we watched your council mock us. We watched your fleets invade our colonies. We watched you ignore our pleas. But you forgot something. Her eyes narrowed. Humans never stop watching. And now. The dark watches you back. Then, the video ended. Admiral Veltrin sat down slowly. His voice was barely above a whisper. They don't need armies. They don't need fleets. One ship. And now the entire Empire stands still. He looked around at his officers. Gentlemen, We are not the hunters anymore. The name of the ship. Silence had taken over the Empire's war rooms. Not just fear, not just confusion, but a silence deeper than anything the Council had ever known. It was the silence that came before truth. In the Carol Prime Command Center, engineers and analysts stared at the ship on the screen, running scans again and again. One junior officer, a quiet girl named Ellen, finally stood up from her console. "I think I found it," she whispered. "Found what?" asked her commander. "The name." The room froze. "What name?" the counselor asked. "The name of the ship," Ellen said, eyes wide. "It's written on the hull. Very small. Hidden in a strange metal hard to detect." "Show us," the commander said. Ellen pressed a key. The screen zoomed in, and the blurry image cleared. It showed the black ship drifting in the stars. And then, just below the front hull, they saw the words etched deep into the armor. TSS. Vindicator Earth Fleet Human. Gasps filled the room. No one spoke. Then the screen flickered again, zooming further out. On the other side of the ship, near the rear thrusters, another message appeared. Short, sharp, unmistakable. Forgotten does. Not mean weak. Admiral Veltrin watched the footage from the Sorrow's Edge in silence. His hand trembled slightly. TSS, he repeated under his breath. Terran starship. Earth built this? One officer asked in disbelief. But how? Veltrin's mind raced. If this is one ship, then they might have others. Many others. He stood slowly. And if this is what they send when they're still calm, imagine what comes when they're angry. Back in the Empire's archive rooms, historians and scientists worked fast. They searched every record, every ancient transmission. And finally, they found it, a hidden report classified long ago. Decades earlier, the Empire had received a distress call from a remote sector. When they arrived, they found a shattered human research outpost. The Empire had ignored the survivors. No rescue, no help, just silence. The file was marked non-threatening species, no military potential. It was signed by the current council members. The truth hit them like thunder. "We dismissed them," the High Chancellor whispered. "We left them to die," and they remembered. Far away, on the bridge of the Sorrow's Edge, Veltrin opened a private channel. "To all fleet commanders," he said. "This is not a drill. This is not an enemy, we understand. Do not provoke. Do not fire. Just observe." "But, sir," one officer asked, "shouldn't we prepare for war?" Veltrin shook his head. "This ship disabled one of our best cruisers. With no damage. It moved through our systems like light through water. It shut down a station with a word. If they wanted war," he looked out the window, "we'd already be gone." The ship known as TSS Vindicator turned again. This time, toward the Empire's inner colonies. No speed boost, no signal. Just slow, silent travel. One final message flashed on every screen across the Empire. Sentence. Clear. Terrifying. Double quotes. One ship was enough. Remember that. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. Earth's message. The TSS Vindicator moved through the stars like a shadow guided by purpose. No. Engines roared. No weapons fired. Yet every system it passed went quiet. Civilian ships shut down communications. Border stations powered down. Their weapons. Even black market smugglers turned away in silence, afraid to be noticed by the ship that had no crew, yet seemed to see everything. Inside the Imperial Council chamber, chaos had melted into something worse: uncertainty. The High Chancellor stared at the glowing message still frozen on the main screen. One ship was enough. Remember that? Why now? A council member asked. Why reveal this now? Because they don't want war, said the defense minister. They want us to understand. Understand what? Asked another dot before anyone could answer. Every screen in the chamber flickered. The power didn't go out this time. Instead, the room dimmed, the lights softened, and the air changed like something heavy had entered. The main screen turned black dot, and an image appeared. Not a face, a hand, a human hand, covered in burns and scars, reaching upward from rubble. Then the image shifted, burned cities, destroyed homes, and a small girl sitting in the ruins, holding a broken flag dot. No music played dot, no narrator spoke dot, just silence and pain dot. Then, one by one, words began to appear on the screen. You thought we were weak. You thought we were broken. You laughed while we buried our dead. The image changed. Human engineers building ships in the dark. Soldiers training in tunnels. Families looking up at the stars with fire in their eyes. Then came the voice dot, calm dot, angry, but cold and controlled. We did not forget. And we did not rest. The council chamber fell completely silent. Everyone listened. We watched as you called us animals, as you raided our colonies, as you dismissed our dead like numbers. The screen shifted again. Now, the TSS Vindicator floated above a shattered asteroid base, the same base the Empire had destroyed 17 years ago. The camera zoomed in. Among the ruins, carved into the asteroid wall, was a single word, Earth. The voice returned. You called us a forgotten species, but Earth remembers everything. Admiral Veltrin watched the same transmission on the Sorrow's Edge. His officers stood behind him. No one moved. No one spoke. He finally turned to them and said quietly, they were never silent. They were preparing. A final sentence appeared on all screens. We came alone to give you a chance to think. Don't waste it. Then the screens went dark dot, no. Explosion dot, no flash dot, just black. The Vindicator didn't send another signal. It simply slowed down and stopped near the twin moons of Zetra Prime, not moving, not responding, but not leaving either dot. It was waiting. The message was clear. Humanity was done asking God asterisk. Tremble across the stars. The TSS Vindicator floated. In stillness above the twin moons of Zetra Prime dot, it didn't move. God, it didn't speak. But its presence was louder than any weapon. Across the galaxy, silence spread like a wave. War fleets held their position. Pirate crews whispered among themselves. And neutral worlds paused all operations near the Empire's borders. The galaxy wasn't just watching anymore, it was trembling. On the Imperial capital, the High Council gathered for what they called the emergency of emergencies. Their walls, once lined with pride and arrogance, now echoed with fear. They're not attacking, whispered the Minister of Defense. No, replied Admiral Veltrin, who had been summoned in person. They've already won. A council turned to him. We still have ships, one shouted. We still have firepower. Veltrin didn't blink. Firepower means nothing when fear has already broken your fleet. He placed a small tablet on the table. On it was the list of 214 Empire ships that had refused direct orders to engage the Vindicator. Some captains had gone dark. Some had simply sent one message. We won't die for pride. The council sat in stunned silence. Veltrin walked forward and pointed to the giant screen. It showed the black warship, still silent, still calm. Do you know what makes them dangerous? He asked. It's not the technology, not the weapons. It's the way they fight. How? One minister asked quietly. They don't waste bullets. They don't waste words. And they don't need approval, Veltrin said. When the galaxy mocked them, they didn't argue. They just built in silence. And now they've returned. He turned toward the council with hard eyes. And they didn't bring armies. They brought a message. That same moment, in deep space far beyond Zetra Prime, A hidden Empire spy drone picked up a signal, an encrypted data burst from the Vindicator to an unknown point. The message was cracked within hours. It was short. Only 5 words. Target 1 observed. Moving on. Panic erupted. "What does that mean?" cried the Chancellor. "Where are they going next?" No one knew, and that was the point. The Empire had no way to track them. No idea how many ships Earth had. No idea where the next message or strike would come from, because this wasn't just a ship. It was a warning symbol, a silent scream across the stars. Humanity is not weak. Humanity is not forgotten. Humanity is watching. One counselor whispered, "What do we do?" Veltrin gave a cold answer. "Pray they don't return." Back on the TSS Vindicator, deep inside its unseen core, a single human sat alone. He wore no medals, no armor, just a quiet face and tired eyes. He looked out at the stars and whispered 4 words to no one but himself. That was just the beginning. Then the ship vanished. No flash. No trail. No signature. Just silence. Again. But now every planet, every general, and every leader would remember it forever. The ship that came from Earth. The ship that made an empire tremble. And somewhere, far across the stars, Earth was still watching. Asterisk.